Good evening and welcome to the Buncombe County Board of Education regular meeting for August 14th, 2025. The mission of Buncombe County Schools is to foster a culture of excellence and continuous improvement where every student will thrive and learn from exceptional educators. Our vision is for every Buncombe County School student to graduate on time, prepared to pursue their chosen path as critical thinkers and collaborative leaders in our diverse society. With that, I will call our meeting to order, and I'll ask that we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. I'll ask tonight in our moment of silence that we keep in mind those families and students in other parts of our country, particularly Texas, who are amidst their own recovery after a devastating flood. Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. Good evening, board members. First item on our agenda for the evening is the approval of our agenda. Is there a motion to approve our agenda? Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Our agenda for the evening is approved. Before I hand it over to Superintendent Jackson, I just wanted to welcome everybody back to the board in anticipation of a very busy 2025 and 2026 school year. I know that everyone has had a great summer. I hope that all of our staff and our families and our students have had a great summer and continue to have a great summer until they fully return to school. I know that 2 of our schools have returned already, and I appreciate all of the hard work of our staff over the summer. A lot of folks in the community don't quite recognize exactly how much our schools provide over the summer services to our students, such as summer reading camps, CTE camps, and that we had a summer graduation where 23 additional students were recently graduated. I want to thank our Superintendent, Dr. Jackson, for all his efforts throughout the summer to support our staff and our students and all of our needs throughout the summer and your continuous early morning runs with our cross-country teams. I want to take a moment as well to welcome Laurel Bates as our board secretary, and also recognize Mr. Chip Cody in joining us as assistant superintendent. We are very eager to work with you and excited for all the great things that you're going to help do for our students and our families and our staff. So thank you for your service and willingness to step up in this manner to serve our school system. With that, Dr. Jackson, I'll hand it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, board members, parents, teammates, and members of our community. We have had a wonderful summer in Buncombe County Schools. With support of grants, private donors, and state funds, we offered summer learning for students across all grade levels. That work culminated in the beautiful commencement that Chairman Elliott referenced, where we did celebrate 23 new high school graduates alongside their families and loved ones. Each student finished strong during Summer Academy and now proudly joins the ranks of BCS graduates. My deepest thanks to the teachers and staff who powered every one of our summer programs. Your impact was evident in every cap and in every smile. As fall athletics gear up, I have had the joy of visiting practices across the county, soaring with the Jets and Blackhawks, blasting off with the Rockets, and keeping pace with our Rams in the rain, as I have run with our cross-country teams for the 3rd consecutive year. Next week, I'll be galloping with the War Horses and running with the Warriors. Everywhere I go, I'm struck by the character of our students and dedication of our coaches. Whether in academics, the arts, or athletics, our students and the adults who serve them are truly remarkable. Today, students return to Buncombe County Early College and the Buncombe County Center for Career Innovation. And with the return of students in our remaining 43 schools on Monday, August 25th, we have a major celebration to share. Free breakfast and lunch for all of our students will continue. This is a game changer. Food is the first and most important school supply. Careful stewardship of our resources and the hard work of our child nutrition team make this possible. Speaking of child nutrition, this summer alone, they served more than 57,000 breakfasts and lunch and nearly 13,000 snacks across the community. Because of their efforts, students who depend on our schools for meals did not go hungry this summer. Team, thank you. We've also navigated a challenging budget year as state and federal allotments decline and costs rise. We've continued to right-size our staffing without issuing pink slips by thoughtfully using existing vacancies and a small number of personnel transfers. The decisions were hard, but they were purposeful and student-centered. We will keep advocating passionately at all levels for the funding our students deserve. Looking ahead, our 2025-2026 theme is #LeadTheClimb. Building on our previous themes of Elevate, Greater Heights, and Together We Rise, this year calls each of us to continue to step forward with courage, clarity, and care, not just rising together, but leading the way. Whether guiding a student through a tough moment, mentoring a teammate, or strengthening a school community, every one of us has a role in the climb. The path won't always be easy, but it will be purposeful, and we will climb it together. We will lead with vision, climb with purpose, and lift others as we go. We'll do this by investing in authentic relationships and deepening trust, inspiring those around us to reach even greater heights. Our students are worthy of our very best every day. I'm confident this will be our finest year yet. To our team and to our board, thank you for all you do for the students, families, and staff of Buncombe County Schools. Welcome to an incredible new school year. Mr. Chair, this concludes my comments.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. With that, it is time for our good news section. Mr. Ulmer, you have the floor.
Celebrate some of our student accomplishments from over the summer. Though they completed their classes in June, Buncombe County Schools FCCLA students have been using their summer learning to become stronger leaders at the National Leadership Conference. Michelle Smith, our Career and Technical Education Director, is going to help as we recognize them this evening. We'd first like to call on Camden Shelton and Peyton Sparks, representing Irwin High School FCCLA, along with their advisors, Lacey Davis and Katie Rice. Ms. Plemons and Mr. Cody, if you would join us up front as well. We'll share some of the accomplishments of these students. Among the Irwin High FCCLA accomplishments at the Leadership Conference, top 10 placements in Nutrition for Life, apparel, fashion design, and construction. Irwin High School FCCLA students and advisors, thank you so much for your excellent representation of the Irwin District and Buncombe County Schools, along with the state of North Carolina, at the National Leadership Conference. Irwin High School FCCLA. Also this evening, we would like to recognize T.C. Robertson High School's FCCLA with student Violet Edwards here, along with advisors Ashley Lowe and Caitlin Austin. Ms. Churchill, if you will join us, please, along with Ms. Lothar, Robertson Assistant Principal. Coming up, the FCCLA team at T.C. Robertson includes a silver medal for Chapter Service Project portfolio and a top 20 national finish in the FCCLA Knowledge Test. We also thank you, Robertson FCCLA, for representing the Ram Fam and all of Buncombe County Schools, along with the state of North Carolina. And it was not just high school students learning to become better leaders. We'd like to recognize FCCLA students from North Buncombe Middle School who are here with their advisor, Sherry Peak, and Principal Nicholas Honeycutt. Ms. Franklin, if you will please join us with Brody Austin, who received a silver medal for National Programs in Action, and in the category of Nutrition and Wellness, Annabelle Cooper. Let me tell you about Ms. Cooper. She received not only a gold medal, but was third place in the entire nation. Thank you to these young leaders. Making the Blackhawks and all of Buncombe County schools proud, representing the state of North Carolina at the FCCLA National Leadership Conference. Congratulations. We also have some guests here with us this evening to honor one of our career and technical education teachers. We welcome Dr. Karen Subner, Julie Von Hemner, and Jeff McDarris from the North Carolina Center for the Advancement of Teaching, and Anna Hare from the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. If you'll please come forward, Dr. Sumner is going to share news of special recognition for a Buncombe County Schools teacher.
Good evening, Superintendent Jackson and members of the Buncombe County Schools Board of Education. Would Lacey Davis go ahead and come forward, please? We want to fully recognize you in front of everyone here. On behalf of the North Carolina Center for the Advancement of Teaching, it is my privilege to announce that Lacey Davis, Family and Consumer Science teacher at Irwin High School, has been selected as a finalist for the NCAT 2026 Burroughs Wellcome Fund North Carolina Career and Technical Education Teacher of the Year Award. The competition does not involve you having to memorize that line. This recognition highlights Ms. Davis's exceptional contributions to CTE instruction and her remarkable impact on the students and community here in Buncombe County. I would also like to recognize Mr. Cody. You get credit, I guess, for this still. I feel like that's fair. Principal at Irwin High School, and Michelle Smith, CTE Director for Buncombe County, for their support of Ms. Davis. It takes a village. The CTE Teacher of the Year Award was established to celebrate the innovation, leadership, and dedication of CTE teachers across North Carolina. The award honors teachers who exemplify the highest standards of excellence in preparing students for both college and career pathways and supporting workforce development. Ms. Davis will be attending a week of professional development with her fellow finalists in December, where interviews and portfolio review will be conducted by an expert panel of judges from across the state to determine the next CTE Teacher of the Year. On December 4th, NCAT will celebrate all finalists and announce the winner at a recognition event at the Corey Convention Center in Greensboro. At NCAT, we're committed to advancing teaching as an art and a profession, and we're thrilled to celebrate you, Lacey, as a shining example of that mission. I would also like to recognize Anna Hare from the Department of Public Instruction, Julie Von Henner, a member of NCAT's Board of Trustees, and Dr. Jeff McDarris, who is chair of our CTE Teacher of the Year Steering Committee, who are also here to honor you tonight. Please join me in congratulating Lacey Davis on this outstanding achievement. We're pleased to provide you with a certificate recognizing you as an NCAT 2026 Burroughs Wellcome Fund North Carolina Teacher of the Year. Okay, that sounds good.
Dr. Reed, Ms. Clemens, Mr. Cody, if you'd like to join for the photo. Congratulations to you, Ms. Davis. keep your calendar clear. We hope to have you back here when you win the award for the whole state. Finally, we have 2 BCS students who put in significant work and earned a place in the national stage in athletic competition this summer. Our athletic specialist for the district, Mr. David Ball, is going to help recognize them. We will start with Mr. Braden Nikotopoulos from A.C. Reynolds Middle School. If you'll please join us along with Ms. Rice and Chairman Elliott. Braden, you can hear him coming because he's got a lot of hardware. Braden, you can bring your hardware if you want. You earned it. Braden flipped his way into the national spotlight after a standout performance at the Amateur Athletic Union. It's a lot of hardware. He was at the gymnastics finals in Florida. Braden placed second in the United States. Congratulations, Braden. Thank you so much for your commitment and hard work and for being a great representative of Rocket Country and Buncombe County Schools. Congratulations, sir. We're also very proud to have Mia Rowland of Owen High School here tonight. Ms. Rowland, if you could join us along with Principal Dawn Rookie. Mia made it onto the roster for the Premier Girls Fast Pitch Futures All-America game, which was played last month in California. She was chosen by a national selection committee, and they take into account not only athletic ability, but they also look into your academic standing as well. Her skills were seen by an international audience as the game was broadcast on ESPN+. Yes, Mr. Cheatham, you join, please. My apologies. Thank you for being a tremendous ambassador for Owen High School and Buncombe County Schools. Congratulations to you, Mia Rowland. And if our good news honorees could please follow my friend Michaela with the camera, we're going to take advantage of it not raining right now to get some group shots of you outside. Thank you so much to all of our visitors from DPI and NCAT. I remind you that you can keep up to date with all of the good things that are happening in Buncombe County Schools by following Buncombe Schools on social media and at buncombeschools.org. And one more piece of good news. This week, we have launched at buncombeschools.org Buncombe County Schools Parent University. It is a series of short videos about school programs and student opportunities, policies, school operations. The first 4 episodes have dropped, as the kids say. They are there at buncombeschools.org with more to come as we move out through the school year. And you can link to all those videos from the Student and Family Links button at buncombeschools.org. You also find that button on every Buncombe County Schools website. So welcome to BCS Parent University. And that is good news for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Ulmer. Yeah. And congratulations to all those amazing students and staff from Buncombe County Schools, and so excited for all their success. Also want to just quickly express my appreciation to our leadership and you, Mr. Ulmer, for putting that parent university together. That's been an opportunity, a point of discussion within our school district for quite a while, and I think it's going to make a big difference in how parents can access information a little bit more easily in a format that might feel a little bit more familiar than trying to wade through our policy manual, which is thousands of pages long, and just get some good information. So I truly want to say thank you very much for all the hard work on that to our staff and everybody who contributed. But thank you. I know you had a big hand in that, so thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Very much. Next on our agenda is our strategic plan highlights with Dr. Reed. Dr. Reed, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman Elliott. Dr. Jackson, members of the board, I am excited to be here along with my incredible curriculum and instruction colleagues Dr. Lanahan, who is our Director of Secondary Education, and Ms. Ponder, and we will be doing an exciting joint presentation for you on our new instructional framework for Buncombe County Schools. And the name of that framework is Elevate BCS, a framework for elevating student minds, voices, and possibilities. So you may be wondering, what in the world is an instructional framework? Well, very simply, it's just a really clear and organized guide for how teaching and learning should happen in every single one of our schools. The framework outlines effective instruction. It sets common expectations for all teachers throughout the school system in order to help ensure that every single Buncombe County school student receives high-quality learning experiences. No matter what their school, their grade level, the content area, we can guarantee a certain level of experience for every single one of our students. And so those things are extremely important. But along with that, there are a lot of other reasons to have an instructional framework in a school system, especially a school system the size of ours. One is that we are, as a school system, always laser focused on improving our student outcomes. Instructional frameworks help create the shared vision for what instruction should look like and what kinds of experiences our students should have in every classroom across our school system, with the ultimate goal of having improved student outcomes. It also serves as a basis or a foundation or a springboard for professional development. That could be in the form of a professional development goal from our teachers or our principals, but also professional development that's provided at our district level, for instance. And it makes sure that we're all on the same page, that we're collaborative, that we're cohesive in our efforts. In addition to that, a framework helps ensure consistent practices across our school system. It ensures that no matter what teacher a student has, that they're going to have like experiences, like goals as far as how we engage students in instruction, and ensuring that all of their experiences are high quality. And then last, which definitely relates to what we were just talking about with Parent University, communication with parents and other stakeholders about what instruction looks like in Buncombe County schools. The framework itself provides a lot of transparency around what we do and how our students experience learning every single day. Speaking of our strategic plan, the instructional framework is a very comprehensive way that we have put our strategic plan into action in every single school and every single classroom throughout Buncombe County schools. I can tell you that every single one of our core beliefs is embodied in this new instructional framework in very meaningful ways. From that first core belief of how we engage students in meaningful ways in our classrooms, all the way to how we support our educators, how we build partnerships with families, and also how we invest for equity and certainly excellence in all of our classrooms. Every one of our 4 goals is evident in this instructional framework. Goal 1 is all focused around academic achievement and student outcomes. Goal 2 is about safe classrooms that are welcoming. Goal 3 is how we engage students in durable skills to prepare them for what's next. The portrait of a graduate is very closely connected with goal 3 there. And then also 4, we've talked already about how we use a framework to set expectations for professional development throughout the system.
As Dr. Reed shared, having an instructional framework is critical for a school system, and you may recognize our former Common Instructional Framework. It can be found in classrooms across our district, especially Read, Write, Think, Speak, Listen, and Move, which has become a hallmark of lessons across Buncombe County schools. But as our students and our classroom and the world around us have changed, we felt like it was important that our framework also be responsive. So what you see here is Elevate BCS, a teaching and learning framework for elevating student minds, voices, and possibilities. To the left are the 3 components of this framework: a welcoming classroom environment, intentional instructional design, and at the heart of it all, the student learning experience. To the right, you see where we have described what each of those components looks like in more detail. But before we move on, I want to point out this tagline at the bottom of the framework, because as we unpack the what and the how of instruction in our classrooms, it is rooted in the why of what we do every day in every classroom for every student. Every student leads, every teacher inspires. I want to take a moment to really unpack that student learning experience that is at the heart of the framework, because I think that you will see how we, as Dr. Reed said, have made these very strategic connections to not only our strategic plan, those core values, but really our mission and our vision. So the student learning experience is characterized, first of all, by cognitively engaging lessons, where all students are active participants, and they are allowed to read, write, speak, listen, and move in order to think at high levels. You'll recognize, of course, language from our former framework, because as we listened to voices around the district, that was something that folks said they did not want to lose. They wanted to see that language represented there because it has become so formative in our district. The student learning experience is also characterized by content and tasks that support students to make relevant and meaningful connections to their own lives and to the broader world as they develop durable skills that they can apply in many contexts. Those durable skills are the NC Portrait of a Graduate competencies that Dr. Reed mentioned, because the experiences that students are having in our classrooms are really just intended to prepare them for what comes next. And finally, the student learning experience is characterized by a sense of belonging in every classroom that demonstrates a deep respect for each and every student as a human being, where students feel valued and motivated to learn, and where every student is supported to reach their highest potential by holding high expectations. You'll remember that last year we shared our sense of belonging framework, and that is because so much of what we know about research is that a sense of belonging is really a prerequisite for learning for so many of our students. So we wanted to make sure that that was rooted so clearly in our framework. Before we move on to how we got here, I just wanted to point out that so many of the elements, as we said, are rooted in our strategic plan and our mission and vision, and in this idea that every teacher is central to this experience, and it's our job then as the curriculum and instruction department to provide the supports to help those teachers to thrive and enact this framework.
So how did we get here? The Elevate BCS Instructional Framework is a result of a year and a half of intentional work grounded in the voices of stakeholders throughout our school system. On this slide, you'll see many of the groups that were represented in this process. It's important to note that our work began with our students, with our Student Advisory Council, asking them to describe the student learning experience that they would like to have in every classroom in Buncombe County Schools. From there, we followed by engaging teacher focus groups, principals and assistant principals, parent advisory group, our district advisory teams, our senior leadership, directors, curriculum instruction staff, instructional coaches, and content specialists. After each round of feedback, we would come back to the table to refine and strengthen our framework. We then circled back to our students, asking them to see if their vision of the student learning experience was clearly articulated in the framework. You'll also notice here some of the earlier iterations of the framework as it was being developed. And where do we go from here? We will continue to elevate the voices of our students, staff, families, and teachers as we implement the BCS Elevate framework. Next Wednesday, the principals, as the instructional leaders of their building, will officially launch this framework with every staff member, introducing this work as a key point for the year and moving forward. That's when the real magic will begin to happen, certainly as we see this framework come to life in every single classroom throughout Buncombe County Schools. Our goals and our action steps this year will be intentionally aligned to the framework at every level. Our principals and teachers will incorporate elements of the framework into their own professional development goals for the year. Our school improvement teams will write goals and action steps that are related to the instructional framework and its implementation. Professional development opportunities will exist around the elements of the framework, and instructional coaches in each of our schools will align their support and their job-embedded professional coaching to elements of the framework. Buncombe County Schools will lead the climb and will continue climbing with purpose. We know that this work in any implementation year takes time, and we will remain strategic and intentional throughout the implementation. I think I misclicked. Okay, get back. Try it. Oh, I can advance it. It's okay. There we go. Well, it's the video, I suppose.
Okay, well, we're going to share one of our first Parent University videos with you later that was supposed to be embedded in this
I
presentation.
think it's a separate link, yeah. I think
Oh,
it's a
here
separate-
comes Robert.
Yes. He's going to be the master clicker. Clearly, I am not. But in this video, it is part of our Parent University series. And in this video, Dr. Reed, our very own Dr. Reed, is introducing the BCS Elevate framework for our families. A similar video has also been developed that will be shared with our principals, and they will use that as a key portion of their presentation as they launch that with their staff next Wednesday in the initial rollout at the school.
Say, like, I've been so impressed by the strategic plan development process that Buncombe County Schools that we took a year, I guess, and a half ago, that we kind of started down that path. But the true collaborative nature of that process, I thought, was just really fantastic, that we got student advisory councils involved, we've got parent advisory councils involved, things at the school levels, things at the staff level, and put together our mission and our vision that we now get to read at the start of our board meetings, and that all of our work that our staff are focused on strategically, like this teaching and learning framework, really ties back to all of those words that were put together on those sticky notes over a year and a half that got pulled together. I remember attending those strategic plan sessions and hearing, like, seeing all the words on those sticky notes that folks would put up there. And with every presentation I've seen ever since then about a strategic plan highlight, those words come straight back to me from those work sessions. So this welcoming classroom environment, what an important thing, and that was a key piece of what we heard in the community, was that everybody wanted to provide a very safe and welcoming classroom environment for each and every student to be able to exceed their expectations in learning and reach their goals academically and just socially, and to be intentional with our instructional design and make sure that we just have a really engaging student learning experience. And so I can't thank our leadership enough for all of that. Yes. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I bought you enough time to fix that.
So, Mr. Chair, I would like to say something about Parent University. I'll give you a couple of seconds here. I am really excited about this, and thank you, Mr. Ulmer and Mr. Frisbee, everybody that's been involved in making those little snippets to put on the website. I think that communication is so important, particularly between the school system and our families. And now they'll have a place to go when they have a question about different things. So there'll be more videos, I'm sure, that'll come out, but I just think this is a really, really good thing that we're putting in place, and I'm very excited about that. Thank you for getting that going. I appreciate it a lot.
While he's addressing that, and if it doesn't come up, Mr. Frisbee, we can make sure that it's shared with the board, and of course, it's shared on our website. I do want to reflect what I've heard from Chairman Elliott, Ms. Clemens, and share my appreciation with our Board of Education. This has been a priority of our Board of Education, something the board has requested, and so we've worked hard to fulfill that because we understand that pictures speak louder than words sometimes, and I'm very proud of the work of the videos and look forward to sharing those with everyone.
Okay. Thank you. I think we're going to move on for now. Yes, sir. All right. That's fine. Thank you for trying. With that, we're going to move on to public comment. Our attorney, Ashley Leonard, will read our public comment instructions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's now time for public comment. As a reminder, speakers will be called in the order in which they signed up. All speakers will have precisely 3 minutes to speak and must adhere to guidelines set forth in BCS Policy 2310, Public Participation, including all reasonable rules established by the superintendent. Profane language, making threats, or revealing confidential student or staff information will not be allowed. Please address the board as a whole. Please note that the board will not be able to respond directly to public comment.
Good evening, members of the board, Mr. Chair, and members of the board. We have one public comment this evening. If Craig White could please come forward, please state your name and which district you live in or which school your child attends.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Jackson. My name is Craig White with the Campaign for Southern Equality, and here we go with the new school year. I understand that you have to revise the gender support guidelines tonight, and I appreciate you not doing any more than is required under state law. I do want to put that decision in a historical context. Anti-transgender violence in the United States goes all the way back to the colonial era, when colonial militias during the Indian Wars would deliberately target the Two-Spirit people who led their tribes. This most recent wave of violence started after the legalization of marriage equality, when conservatives needed a new wedge issue. They have pursued that fight on 4 fronts. In the political realm, more than 2,300 anti-LGBTQ bills have been introduced in the last 5 years, plus countless executive orders, school board decisions, and court rulings. In the media, hundreds of millions of dollars have been spent on anti-trans messaging, including $200 million in the last election cycle alone. Many of the things you may think you know about trans people come from this propaganda campaign. As for religion, it breaks my heart, but many of the young people that I work with mostly know the Christian church as a hate group. I tell them that the teachings of Jesus are often the exact opposite of what they're hearing at church, but the fear, the trauma, the damage is so deep they don't want to hear it. Faith, media, and politics, all of this lands on the schools. And in schools across the country, teachers are being fired for being trans stories and histories are being silenced, and trans kids are bullied every single day. All of this history lands on your plate. Trump issued an executive order saying that transgender, non-binary, and intersex people don't even exist. The General Assembly has passed a law saying the same. Here in Buncombe County Schools, you are our last line of defense. And not just for queer and trans students, for immigrant students, for Black and brown students, for students living in poverty. The list gets longer every day. In June, I invited you to build bridges across lines of difference. This year is going to be the test. It's a test of your integrity, a test of your character, a test of your commitment to a diverse society and the BCS mission that every student will thrive. And I hope you ace that test. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, that concludes tonight's public comment.
Okay, thank you very much. With that, we'll move into our action agenda. The item on the agenda for consideration is the annual approval of student fees. Dr. Reed is available for any information that the board have any questions about. Any questions or comments from the board on this topic?
One.
Yes, Mr. Martin.
So I did notice in here that Asa Reynolds High School and TC Robinson charged for PE uniforms. And in a previous board meeting, we actually, for Kuntz, got rid of their uniforms. So why are we still doing it in 2 other schools for PE?
So these uniforms are specifically for their health and PE classes, their 9th grade health and PE class. So it's not a school uniform, it's just specific attire for that particular class. It might even be fair just to say it's a uniform dress that they wear, not really a uniform, but a required outfit that they have for that particular course.
So I done saw TC's uniforms. I pick up my child, so I see them outside. But I'm trying to get to the concept of it. If the other 4 don't do it, why are these 2 still doing it? Because athletic codes are available everywhere now, so I don't think it's something that
Yeah.
the schools need to be doing anymore.
It was a school-based decision to, that those 2 schools made to offer student uniforms for PE. However, as we've looked at our policy and try to come in line with the policy, we could certainly revisit that with them. The specific recommendation is that they're allowed to continue to charge that fee at least this year because they've already purchased those garments for students and collected those fees. So if it's the board's desire to say we want to bring those 2 schools in line with the other 4, then that's certainly the recommendation we would take back to them.
Dr. Lanahan, let me ask a question. I think I know the answer, but I just want to make sure. What happens if someone can't afford the $20?
Yes, it's a very good question, and I would answer this for any fee that you see listed here. Our schools are very thorough and diligent in making sure that students who may not be able to pay the fees have a mechanism to either get a reduced fee or not have to pay that fee at all. And our high school principals were very clear that they make sure that they take care of students who may not be able to afford the assigned fees.
Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Churchill.
I was just going to say, I actually spoke to both principals today who are very much in favor of continuing the uniform dress out policies. And I had the very same question about the cost, and they both assured me that if students were not able to afford it, they did not have to cover the cost, that they had ways to make it work where they didn't have to incur any more additional fees.
And Ms. Churchill, you may have heard this too from our high school principals. One of the benefits they see of those uniforms specifically for that course is that it may alleviate some dress code issues or concerns that they have. And again, that's that school level decision. It just happens to have a fee associated with it that needs to be reconciled with the policy.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the annual approval, or make sure I get this stated correctly. Our approval of student fees. Is there a motion? Thank you. Is there a second? Any further discussion?
I would just, for the discussion part of it, I would just say that we need to make sure that we bring everybody in line. If two are doing it, then the other ones can, or if, I just think we don't be charging fees for uniforms. Schools are getting away from it. We did it for Koontz, and I think we should do it for this because everyone can get Nike, Under Armour, and Reebok uniforms themselves, and we don't have to worry about it in the school systems.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion?
I would like to maybe make a suggestion that this could be something that could come forward to the policy committee where the principals are able to speak to why they wanted to continue this. And then perhaps maybe a principal from one of the other schools that's not doing it would have the opportunity to speak to why they are not doing it. It's my understanding that it has been going on for a long time, and I remember my child having to do it, and it is a very basic pair of white shorts and a pair of blue pants, and it's only worn specifically for the PE class.
Thank you. I believe our policy chair heard that request, and we'll let Mr. Cheatham follow through on that. Any further discussion? All right, we have a motion, a second. Hearing no further discussion, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. We've approved the student fees for 2025-2026 school year. Next on our agenda is our consent agenda. There is a large body of work put in that consent agenda. I'll remind the board that if any of you have any items that you would like to pull out for any further discussion, you can request that at this point. Yes, Mr.
I'd like to
Martin.
pull out the 2025 Advisory Council members for approval.
Okay, any other needs from the board to pull out anything from the consent agenda? Okay, well, regarding the 2025 and 2026 Advisory Council members for approval, do you have a question or a comment there?
Comment that I have is that visiting all the schools this past school year and loving the presentation that Dr. Reed gave us on how we're going to elevate, because that was my campaign promise to Buncombe County, elevating young minds. And when we look at the Advisory Council members for approval, some of them I went to, I didn't get to all of them, but I'm gonna try my best in the next school year to get to every single one of them that's offered through the schools. But what I'm seeing is that the sense of belonging that the Black and brown, Hispanics, Blacks, other cultures are not invited inside of these advisory councils. And what I wanna see more of that. I wanna see presentation from every culture that's in Buncombe County, because if Buncombe County can vote the first Black person to this board, then I think our schools should represent that entirety for our school system. Everyone should have a voice. Everyone should have a speaking about the kids' safety or anything about what goes on inside of our schools. So I challenge our principals and I challenge the board that we make sure that this is happening inside of our schools. I mean, schools are doing it across America now. People are changing. The next generation that's coming up, they don't see black and white anymore. And I love that about the next generation that's coming behind us. But what I want to see from us, the sense of belonging, I want to go into advisory council and I want to see what that school represents. I have all the data on what is represented in each school. Irwin High School is now the most multiracial school in Buncombe County. When I grew up here, wasn't so. So I want to see that representation in Irwin in that council. I want to make sure that the Mexicans, the Russians, the Ukrainians, I want them to have a say-so what's going on inside the schools. And that's going to make the schools better. You involve the parents, you involve the community, a school will flourish big time. And Reynolds and TC are the prime example. When a community gets behind a school, they will support that school no matter what's going on. But I want to make sure that we highlight that And before we just start approving stuff, making sure that we are representing every family that's in our school system.
Mr. Chair, may I make a comment to that?
Yes.
I would just like to say that I agree with you, Reverend Martin, but I'd also like to say that our principals throughout the county were charged, I'd say it's probably been a couple of years now, to put forth every effort to make sure that anybody who wanted to apply knew and understood that they were welcome to apply, and that information went out in multiple ways. Some schools still struggle to get, just a couple of community members, and then there's other schools that have, basically a waiting list because there's so many people that want to do it. And so I do want to say that while we could definitely, use a lot more people and better representation at the school level, I want to commend what they have been doing. I think we just maybe have to figure out a way, perhaps looking at the times of those meetings and see if there's some way that we could tweak things to allow other people that might, even work different jobs. I know that with my job, I don't often get to the advisory meetings and the SIP meetings as much as I would like to. And so I think of others who are working, during those times. So that's just my comment.
Yes, thank you for both of you for those comments. It is in our advisory council policy. Again, advisory councils are not statutorily required by the state. It is a Buncombe County Schools policy that we created back in 30 years ago in order to get informed feedback from our community. And yeah, I have seen some concerted effort for sure in many schools to make sure that the principal isn't actually handpicking the members, that it is announced in multiple ways, inviting all parents to please participate. And there's always the discussion around like what else can we do besides be as open and loud about that welcoming and that big invitation to the community to participate in this way. And I know that there are some principals certainly working and trying to find creative ways to accomplish what you were just mentioning, Mr. Martin. So I thank you for bringing that up. And I know Dr. Jackson has paid some particular attention to it as well, and so we'll continue to do so. And I really have, as a board member, these advisory councils, parent advisory councils at our schools, they're really geared to pass information through to the board about pertinent topics that are on the minds of parents. And I try to attend them and just listen as a board member because they are advisory council meetings, run by the principal, focus on issues primarily at that school level, but the intent is to provide feedback specifically to the board. And so I am always grateful to all those folks out there in the community that are raising their hand and stepping up and helping lead those advisory councils. So thank you for that. Any other items on the consent agenda that any other board members feel compelled to discuss before we move to vote on the consent agenda? I do want to point out that in the consent agenda, we have policies in place for second reading and policies for ratification. And the policies for ratification, a lot of the small language changes that are in there are meant to address some of the issues that were presented by the passage of HB 805. There are other items in that law that will need to be addressed as well going forward, and our policy committee will be working through those. With that said, if there's no other questions or discussion, I need to read out the consent agenda. So we have the minutes from the June 30th, 2025 special call meeting, personnel report from August 14th, 2025, Woodfin Elementary School approval of sewer easement, Clyde A. Irwin Middle School approval of sewer easement, Nesbitt Discovery Academy, accept GMP and authorize CMAR to proceed. Buncombe County Schools proposed federal programs for 2025-2026 advisory council members for approval. Approval of Buncombe County Schools individual schools length of day. Technology services intent to purchase fiber optics cable runs. Notification of contract award, Owen Middle School, J. Bartholomew Construction. Athletic capital outlay request for Valley Springs Middle School. Request to change Banks, North Buncombe Middle School. We have the policies for second reading, policy 3220, technology in the classroom, technology in the education program. Policies for ratification, policy 1710, 420, 723R. Gender support guidelines, policy 3320R. School-sponsored field trips, policy 5030R. Community use of school facilities. With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve our consent agenda.
Chair,
All right, yes, ma'am.
Chairman,
Yes.
are we pulling out the advisory council? You meant when you went down the list?
I
Said it.
pulled that. If I wasn't clear, I meant to, when I asked to call that out, I was trying to put that up front.
Okay, so we are pulling that out, is right?
Ms. Leonard, do I need to take a separate vote on that item? No.
Okay.
It's still,
All right.
it's
I
still
just
a part of
want-
the consent agenda.
wanted
We
to
just
clarify.
discussed it, so. Okay, I believe I called for a motion and we had 3.
Yeah,
So
he had.
We're good. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our consent agenda is passed. Next is our information agenda. Board members, you'll have that on your agenda digitally there as well. The yellow school bus list, policies for first reading, policy 1310, 4002, parent involvement, policy 3320, school trips, policy 6325, parking areas for students. May I have a motion to approve our information agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our information agenda is approved. Next is our announcements for future meetings. The next regular Board of Education meeting is September the 4th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. in the Minitorium. Work session updates and closed session begin at 4 p.m. in the Executive Conference Room at 175 Bingham Road in Asheville. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? With that, the adjournment carries. Meeting is adjourned.